Hello, Cozy Gamers, and welcome back to the Cozy Gaming Club. There have been so many new Cozy game releases in September, and choosing which one to buy is a very difficult decision. But I've played most of them, so I thought I'd make a video discussing all of the pros and cons. Some of my favourite games of the year so far were released this month, and I can't wait to share them with you. Before we get started though, I'd like to disclose that some of the games covered in this video were gifted to me, but that doesn't influence my review at all, and I'll be fully transparent with you about which ones were gifted. Without further ado, let's get started with Sprout Valley, which was kindly gifted to me by the dev. Sprout Valley is a cute farming game where you leave behind your busy city life in favour of an abandoned island, which you just bought off a plucky penguin. But the island is in a right state, so you'll have to clean it up before you can start growing the garden of your dreams. I've seen a lot of people covering this game and recommending it on various social platforms, and I really wanted to love it. The pixel art style is gorgeous and the premise is right up my street. I love games where you get to rebuild something from scratch, be it a farm or a town. Also, the fact you get to play as a cat is just perfect. So why didn't I like it? For starters, I found the beginning of the game way too text heavy. There was just too much information thrown at you within the first day, and I found it super overwhelming. And then the game just goes completely hands off after that. Admittedly, I think I only played for 5 or 6 days in total, but that's because I found it a bit repetitive. I was essentially just waking up each day to water my crops and then run around a bit to try and find some fish before going to bed. There are also no NPCs for you to meet, so it can feel very rinse and repeat without any variation to your days. In the future, you can start travelling to other islands, but even then there were very few NPCs. Someone in my comments did tell me about an NPC in your basement though, but I didn't meet them in my playthrough. Overall, I can definitely see that this game would be appealing for players who want a relaxing experience that can be played at their own pace, but for me it lacked challenge, plot and a direction for the gameplay. Next up, we're diving into an environmentally friendly game that actually pleasantly surprised me. Work together with the Wildlife Association to save your island and protect its animal inhabitants in Dolphin Spirit Ocean Mission. This one is very similar to one of my favourite games of all time called Alba, a Wildlife Adventure, but with a cool underwater twist. Explore the island, taking countless photos of the wildlife while also collecting rubbish and helping out the villagers with their quests. I wouldn't say that this game is as well executed as Alba, but I still think it's very fun to play, and, well, I ended up playing it for 3 hours straight, if that's any indication of how much I liked it. It also looks like I've still got quite a bit left to discover too, so I can't wait to dive back in. My favourite part was definitely exploring the ocean with my trusty dolphin friend. I got to save turtles and dolphins from nets they'd got entangled up in, collect litter, and remove other hazards from the ocean floor. I also love that the dolphin can help you on your quest by pointing out rubbish and trapped animals that you may have missed. The more areas you clear, the more sea creatures will return to the reef, and you can also take photos underwater, so get snapping. There are lots of different areas to explore as well, from an old library with strange writing to a shipwreck. Altogether, I thought the swimming was done well, and going underwater was definitely the highlight of the game for me. All of the controls did take a little getting used to at the beginning. Some of the drawbacks though are that there's no character customization, and the game also has a habit, at least at the start, of teleporting you to the next place it wants you to go, instead of letting you walk there and learn your way around the map. I also think that while the characters are very diverse, the dialogue and relationship building could use a little work. The NPCs maybe lack a personal touch, because they mainly just gave me task after task with minimal conversation, which made them feel a little bit robotic. Dolphin Spirit Ocean Mission may have a few flaws, but overall I'm having a whale of a time exploring this game. Or should I say, a dolphin of a time. If you're a fan of Alba, I'd definitely recommend checking this one out. The next game on my list is Paleo, and I am sure you've heard of this one because it is everywhere. This game was kindly gifted to me, so thank you so much to Modus Games for providing me with a key to check this out. In this dinosaur farming game, you'll be befriending all of the dinos and enlisting their help to fix up your ranch and create a cozy dino sanctuary. Honestly, farming has never been more fun than when you have cute dinos by your side, and I don't know how I'm ever gonna go back. Why would I ever water crops again when I can just get a Gallimimus to spray them all for me? I really liked how it wasn't super simple to befriend the dinos either. There's a lot of thought that goes into it. First, you need to learn their friend's song and play it on your flute, and then you need to correctly identify what sort of food they like, whether that's crunchy, juicy, spicy, or something else. It's like a puzzle you have to solve, and even when you've befriended the dinosaurs, it's not all smooth sailing, because you have to ensure you have enough space for them, or they'll run away. And let's not forget about the rare dinos. There's a chance that dinos will spawn in special colours for you to collect. However, after you've befriended them, you'll need to build up their trust so you can ride them and use their skills. There's no bar for this though, and I found it hard to judge how close they were to trusting me. I do have a few other issues with this game as well, starting with the limited inventory space. If you're exploring and trying to tame dinos while you go, then you'll need every type of snack and poppin' in your inventory, and that takes up quite a bit of space. Otherwise, you'd need to run back and forth from your ranch to the dino, which takes forever, and may mean you miss out on a rare dino. Which brings me to my second issue, which is that the world is quite large, and I don't think there's any way to fast travel. Add that to the fact that your dinos use the same stamina for sprinting as they do for their abilities, and you're basically stuck walking everywhere. But I mean, at least we're walking at dino speed, I guess. Also, despite the vast and open world, I gotta say it feels a bit empty sometimes. And turning in the game also made me feel a bit motion sick. One nice change from other farming games is that you can save during the day, but the only drawback with this is that you can only save at your house. I thought that the NPCs were a really nice addition to the game, I just wish there were more of them. I really enjoyed all of their distinct personalities, and they all have their own quests for you to complete. Although I don't think you can romance them. When you're in town, you may also notice more NPCs wandering around, but you can't really interact with them outside of getting a strange dialogue prompt. I think they were added to make the town feel not as empty as it is, but it just felt strange to me. And while we're on the topic of town, you may have noticed a quest board. I actually found these quest board missions a little bit repetitive because they're mostly fetch quests involving delivering wood or carrots to some of the NPCs, and they don't all reward you with shells, which is what we really need in Paleo Pines because money is in super short supply. Basically, everything that I love about this game is to do with the dinosaurs. They really excelled themselves with making the perfect dinosaur game, so if you're a fan of adorable dinosaurs and don't mind a few quirks, then you'll probably love this game. The next game I checked out is Moonstone Island, and I am very grateful to Raw Fury for providing me with a key to take a look at this game. Moonstone Island is a Ghibli-inspired dream where you play as a fledgling alchemist starting their alchemy training. After leaving your parents, you accidentally crash land on an island in the sky and decide to make that your new home. Befriend your new neighbours, capture spirits, and brew potions as you uncover the dark secrets of Moonstone Island. Now that I've told you a little bit about the game, let's fly straight into the pros and cons. I actually really enjoyed this game, and it's definitely one of my top games of the month, if not the year. The art style and premise are so cute, and I love how magical everything is. The devs really nailed the visuals, giving Moonstone Island that signature Ghibli-esque charm. It's also so much fun exploring the wider world. There are 100 different islands to discover, and many of them have their own unique status effects that you'll need to deal with. With the various dungeons and mines as well, there's honestly so much to explore in this game. The only issue I had with exploring is that you can't really change direction with your balloon, so if you jump off the wrong way, then you've just got to go with it. But later unlocks can help with this. The cool thing is that each island also has its own spirits, and the spirits are such a big part of the game. The names and designs for all of the spirits are so funny, and I really wish I could have taken all of them home with me. But sadly, you can only have 3 active spirits, and if you want more, then you're gonna have to build a spirit barn and a stall for all of them. The combat is also really fun. I've not played many turn-based games, but I really do like that you can take things at your own pace. It's also nice knowing what each ability is going to do, as well as being able to check the weaknesses of your enemy. There's no way to save while you're exploring though, which is a little bit frustrating. You can only save by going home or by fainting and effectively ending the day. This was another little issue that I had with the game because I found it very easy to run out of stamina and faint. I would often not even notice I was about to run out of stamina until it was too late. I would have liked it if you ran out and just couldn't do anything else productive, then you could eat more food to replenish it, or just finish off your day by chatting to people before heading to bed. Speaking of chatting to people, I wasn't as sold on this part of the game as I expected. I found it so hard to get attached to a character when I'm essentially just pressing chat, joke, or flirt each time. There's no conversation there, just stats increasing, which really broke the immersion for me. I've played about 9 hours of Moonstone Island so far, so I'm definitely still enjoying it. But there's just some aspects that I'm not enjoying as much as I thought I would. On the whole though, it's a very fun game. Now, let's talk about cats. Who doesn't love cats? Mineko's Night Market was also released in September, and Humble Games were kind enough to gift me a key to check it out. In Mineko's Night Market, you've just moved to a new town with your dad. It's a little run down though, and there are these strange agents everywhere locking up the cats. Obviously, we can't let them get away with that, so we'll quickly jump into the action by sneaking around and distracting the men in black to release all the keys. This part of the game is really interesting because every time it comes around, there's a new mechanic in play, whether you're putting them to sleep with classical music or dressing up in a disguise. The most important thing is that you get to save all the cats, pet them all, and create a cat conga line. The only sad thing is that they can't come home with you. Now, the agents are actually there to catch a mysterious cat god Mineko. I don't know much about Mineko yet, but I really do want to find out more. The other big part of this game is the night market that takes place every Saturday night. During the week, you'll be collecting resources that you can craft to make things to sell at the market. The best thing about this is that each resource has a set location where you can collect it, so I was able to plan out my days and I always knew where I'd be going next and what I would be able to get there. I really like this mechanic, especially as there's so many different things to craft. You'll also unlock more workbenches and craftables as the game goes on by completing NPC quests. When it comes to NPCs, most of them are pretty flat and just stand around asking you to fetch some items. But the actual main NPCs like Bobo are really funny. The dialogue in this game had me cracking up at times, and although I found it really frustrating at first, I actually warmed up to all the dumb nicknames and was looking forward to seeing what they'd call me next. This only just scratches the surface of what's available in this game, and you'll unlock even more as the game goes on. There are 4 different museums to complete. I've encountered 5 different crafting tables, and there's at least 6 different areas that I've encountered so far as well. Every night market has a new fun minigame, and if you win, you get to collect a trophy. And there's fishing too. There are a few issues with the UI as well. I'd like to be able to sell multiple items at once. It also took me a while to wrap my head around the fact that B doesn't close a menu. Instead, it's the same button as you use to open it. Overall, I'd say the game has a slow start, but if you persevere through that first hour or so, it gets really good. I'm really enjoying Mineko's Night Market. There's just so much to do and collect. Overall, it's a very chill, low-stakes game where it's clear how to proceed, but you can do it at your own pace. This next game was probably my favourite game from September, and maybe it'll be my game of the year as well. I've now played over 40 hours of Fae Farm, and I don't think I'll be stopping anytime soon. I did make an in-depth first impressions video for Fae Farm that you can watch by clicking the link above, and I still stand by most of the points I listed there, even though I've now played a further 30 hours of the game. I'll quickly summarise my main points here, but first I wanted to say thank you to Phoenix Labs who kindly gifted a key to Fae Farm for me. My favourite thing about Fae Farm is just all the quality of life improvements compared to other farming games. Your tool belt automatically changes to the right tool for your job, and your tools don't take up any inventory space. You have shared inventory between your storage shed, which has unlimited storage by the way, and your crafting station, so you don't have to run back and forth repeatedly. Also, the gameplay is so smooth. Fae Farm didn't feel clunky at all compared to some of the other games I've played this month. It was so fluid, whether you're jumping up a hillside or swimming through a river. They also added some strange but unique mechanics to the farming. Instead of just being able to purchase all the crops from your local shop, you have to use a special fertilizer to spawn seasonal and magical crops. This is a really fun twist, and it was a nice surprise discovering each new crop as it spawned. Although it did get a little annoying if you forgot to turn a new crop into seeds and then had to start again from scratch. As you've probably heard, if you're playing games for the in-game social aspect, then Fae Farm probably isn't the game for you. The shop NPCs have very limited dialogue, although the befriendable and romanceable NPCs do expand on this. Likewise, the festivals that I've experienced were very lackluster. They essentially boil down to just being a store to buy festival-related items and a few new decorations around town. While Fae Farm is fun to play alone, it's even better in multiplayer with friends. I've recently started from scratch again with a close friend, and I love running all over the place together, although you do need double the resources for upgrading tools. Overall, I'm really loving this game, but I can definitely see why it's not everyone's cup of tea. Phew! Those are all the cozy games I played in September, and hopefully these brief overviews will help you decide which game you want to play next. If you have any more questions about the games I've talked about in this video, please drop them in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more cozy gaming content, then I would love it if you could subscribe to my channel. I hope to see you next time. Bye!